To escape or to stay? This is a question imposed onto me by my English 12 high school teacher, which I will not be naming for obvious personal reasons. This was done as a project for me and a project for my class, which I'm supposed to be having first period at 8:30 a.m. today. And I'm recording this video, audio, and editing the rest of this entire thing at 2:21 a.m. Let's just see how this goes. This video is sponsored by nobody because I do not have any sponsorships, I have no following, and this video is probably never going to make the light of day besides my YouTube channel and probably a few tens of views. So let's move back to that original question that I said. To escape or to stay? This question is connected back to the book that my class has been reading for first period English 12, Into the Wild by John Krakauer. Into the Wild by John Krakauer is a book written about a non-fictional character by the name of Chris McCandless, who decided to go out of his society and live amongst the woods in Alaska, and then died. The book contains a lot of things, and I'll be honest, I haven't read that much. So, why has this question been imposed onto us? Well, the story, by what I remember, Chris McCandless set out of the society to become one with nature and to find himself. He wanted to create a way for him to find himself before he came back into society to reunite with the people that he loves. But a few misplanned things goes awry, and next thing you know, he dies right like that. So, what does this question mean? To escape or to stay? What I thought of this question myself was that, do we either choose to escape the society that we live in now, or do we choose to stay in the society to fight for a better change? And what is my thesis? I decide I want to make a better change with the people that I know. A community that I've been involved in for years and years, and a thing that I want to do to pour my heart and soul into. So what I chose to do is I chose to stay in society. Why did I choose to stay in the society? Even though we get bombarded with so many fake news, with a government that what we think seems to not care about us at all, or many other things. Why did I decide to choose to stay in a society? Well, I have three main claims that I have to support that. I'll take you over to the computer, help me with it. So why did I choose to bring you guys over to my computer? Well, one, the main reason is that I really don't want to hold my microphone anymore, and I decided to just place it down on my desk so I can talk with it with my hands free. And for number two, so I can pull up my outline and I can be able to talk about this in a much better and much more suited manner. So why did I choose to stay in a society? Well, what I think my main thesis would be is that there is always strength in numbers. Strength in numbers is such a powerful thing because once we stay in a society where we work as a community together, we can create that change. To reiterate what I just said, why I chose this path was because when people come together, they can do much greater things than people who can do stuff on their own. Claim number one. For example, a protest, which I'll put the definition on screen somewhere since I kind of don't want to search it up, can be really effective, especially with enough people. What did I choose in my first evidence? The SAG-AFTRA strikes from 2023. SAG-AFTRA, or the Screen Actors Guild, is a union created back in March 30th, 2012. The guild was created to unionize people together so that they can make a change and a difference if they ever needed to. And in 2023, a really big change was meant to happen. The AMPTP, or this thing, was starting to use AI-generated products in a lot of their marketing and a lot of their movies. What does SAG-AFTRA think about that? AI generation sucks. So, what did they decide to do about it? SAG-AFTRA went on a 5-month-long strike from July 14, 2023 to November 9, 2023 against AI-generated content in films, movies, and television. And on November 9, 2023 at 12:01 a.m. in the morning, the SAG-AFTRA strikes were officially over. Why were they over, you might ask? A quote taken from one of the articles can explain it here. SAG-AFTRA's TV Theatrical Negotiating Committee has reached a tentative agreement with the AMPTP on a successor agreement to the 2020 TV/theatrical contracts. Editing Riplin here. I didn't realize that the quote that I was reading was actually like a fake quote. It was just AI generated because I'll be honest, I used a summarizer to do all this. I am way too tired. But it was a quote that was created by the AI. It's not a real quote in the thing. I'm going to show a real quote though. These contracts were also a way and also a gateway to stopping AI generation. And with the renewal of these contracts, they were able to put a protection against AI generation and against any AI generated content that would be used in further television and or theatricals. The reason I chose this is that one, we can see that this is an amazing showcase of triumph through power in numbers. One of my all-time favorite sayings, power in numbers. I don't know who made it, probably searched up while editing, and I'll show it on screen right now. But I decided to choose this as one of my main pieces of evidence just because I connect really a lot to film, theatrics, and TV. I am a big consumer, even though sometimes I may not know too much. I do love TV shows, film, and I love everything user generated. Anything AI, I usually brush to the side. But in this sense, or in this scenario, AI was used to take jobs of actors, take jobs of people who needed the money to raise up their families and to raise funds for themselves. So this is why I decided to choose this as a reasoning. Just because once they were able to come together, they were able to make the change that they wanted. And claim number 2, why did I decide to stay in a society than to just leave it? Learning from others creates a better community. The UCLA Labor Studies Division, or Labor Studies class, created a fellowship, or more so a, summer camp. It was a way for people in the Labor Studies class to come together with labor unions, come together with union leaders, and to try and learn more as to why they decided to create that union in the first place, and as to why they decided to join the union in the first place by getting to interview other people as well. A quote I took from the residency program, or the fellowship program as other people called it, was, "It happened again." I'm sorry. I'm just gonna put another quote. So why did I choose this now? Well, because people gained a lot from the fellowship and from the summer residency that they created in UCLA. Another reason was that people were able to work together a lot more, and being able to work together with other people can really bring up the knowledge that you already have. Like I'm doing this super late at night. And with that knowledge, you're able to create more and more for yourself and create more and more for the people around you to come together and create the change you want. I may sound like a broken record. I'm probably repeating myself multiple times without me knowing it, but this is exactly why I chose this as my path, to come together as a society to make change. Well, a counterclaim that you might have is that solo ventures have also worked for a change. We can take, for example, Julia Butterfly Hill. Back in 1997, she sat in a tree. Yes, I'm not joking. She sat in a tree for 2 years. Think about all the things you can do in 2 years, right? I could have done much better work on this project if I had 2 years to do it. But no, Julia Hill had 2 years. Or she didn't have 2 years. She stayed in a tree willingly for 2 years. And for what reason? To protest against loggers cutting down an old growth forest. The type of tree that she stayed in? A redwood. So what type of forest do you think she was staying in? A redwood forest. Redwoods can live up for thousands of years. Some say maybe even 2,000 years. But the reason that she decided to protest against those loggers was because those loggers were thinking of cutting down that tree, or cutting down the forest in general. So she decided to stay up there in protest for 2 years and to come to an agreement with the loggers to stop them from cutting down that forest. That gained international headlines. You may even see it on your shorts feed today. If you're just scrolling through, you probably read about the story of Julia Butterfly Hill, 738 days on a redwood tree. Yeah, solo ventures can work. She decided to do one of the most extreme cases of solo venturing, which was, going out in the forest. I'm not saying it's too uncommon. Many people do it. A lot of people have. Like, you have gone camping before, probably, if you're watching this video. If you haven't, you should try it. It's pretty fun. In my defense, this was a very extreme case of solo ventures working. Why do you think it's a very extreme case? How many times have you heard of solo ventures being the sole reason why the change was made? Because not too many people have the guts to make the change on their own. They want to work as a community, and working as a community can make much larger changes, which goes into my third claim. Protests can make massive changes.
And you know what else is massive?
What was that noise? They can make amazing changes because people come together to make the change that they want. My evidence that I chose for this one were the Kaiser Permanente strikes of 2022. So why did I decide to choose this one? Well, the Kaiser Permanente strikes in 2022 were focused on getting better mental health treatment and finding easier ways to get the help for mental health. And in 2022, Kaiser Permanente and the state of California were able to come to an agreement and were able to grant a lot more help towards people with mental health problems, behavioral issues, and much, much more in that department. So yeah, that's a big success. And you know why it's a big success? The unionized workers all came together to strike, to protest, and all of it was peaceful. I could have chosen many other instances of much more violent protests or really heavy-hitting protests. Why did I decide to choose these? They're peaceful. No bad happened. We have much better mental health help in Kaiser Permanente, and we are able to protect ourselves against AI generation in film. I may have used very popular examples like the civil rights movement, but why did I decide to choose these? They're much more relevant for our time, and it's a much easier way for us to grasp onto the concept of power in numbers, strength in numbers, and coming together as a community to make the change that we want. Why does all this matter? Well, I think it's super important because, in my opinion, we are one body, but we are many minds. But as we come together and as we form a much tight-knit circle, a much more tight-knit team, community, congregation, or union, we are able to become one mind and one body fighting for the same cause. Whether that be for AI generated content, whether that be for better mental health, whether that be back then civil rights, whether that be for whatever. We are able to come together as a society to make the change that we want. To escape or to stay. I choose to stay, but I choose to stay to make a difference. Thank you for watching. If you want to watch more of my content, I have a film and like some music in my channel. Just go down below, click something. Thank you.